and welcome. My name is Christina from Empowered Creator. I am a mindset and conscious manifesting teacher and coach, and this is my YouTube channel. Here I talk about all things law of assumption, mindset, conscious manifesting, the quantum universe, and a lot more. And my goal is to simplify everything without the fluff. So if you guys like this content and you would like to see more of it, I would love it if you would subscribe to this channel, comment on this video, like it, share it, and stick around. Also, if you need help with your specific situation, I offer one-on-one coaching as well as custom subliminals for whatever needs you may have. I also have some self-study courses about manifesting your specific person, and I do have a members-only channel with a lot of perks for members, including weekly live group coaching, weekly live workshops with a different manifesting topic each week, a lot of exclusive content, monthly challenges for a chance to win a free one-on-one coaching session with me, and a lot more. So if you're interested in any of these services, the links are below in the description box. Click on them and they're going to take you to my website or to the membership channel. With all that being said, let's dive into today's video. In today's video, I want to offer a reminder, which is a very important reminder to all those of you who are manifesting your specific person. I know it can be challenging. I know at times it can be frustrating. I know it can even feel heartbreaking at times. However, it doesn't need to be. And my hope is that this specific reminder that I'm going to offer today is going to help you move forward if you're feeling stuck, and it's going to boost your manifestation and help you successfully manifest your specific person at a minimum amount of time. So this is what I'll be discussing in today's video. Stay tuned. So I know a lot of you watching this channel, probably most of you, are manifesting a specific person. And I know that the journey of manifesting a specific person is not always smooth sailing. I know it's not always unicorns and rainbows. I know that a lot of you come with an emotional baggage, especially if you are manifesting an ex, if you're manifesting a past relationship, or anyone you have a history with, and you might have the added challenge of changing your assumptions about that person, or not remembering the past hurt or the past pain that might have been caused from that relationship. And I know that this can be a big challenge for a lot of people. It's actually probably the biggest challenge for people who are manifesting either an ex or someone who they have some history with. However, this can also apply to all those of you who are manifesting a specific person who you have not been in a relationship with before, and for whatever reason you feel it's going to be difficult to manifest that person, that maybe this person doesn't have feelings for you, or this or that. Whatever your situation might be, whatever the scenario might be, this teaching applies here, and it applies very fittingly. This teaching, you guys, comes from Neville Goddard, who else? And it's one of the things that he reminds us in one of his books, to not rob people of their ability to be their best self, of their ability to be in the best, most ideal state, most ideal version of themselves that they can be. Effectively, what that means is that when we are manifesting a different version of a specific person, but at the same time, we are still stuck in the past. We are still stuck in their past behaviors, what they might have said, what they might have done, what they might have told us, what might have gone down in the old story. And we're going off of these assumptions and these memories, which more often than not are hurtful and painful memories. We are robbing this person of their ability to show up for us in a better state, of their ability to show up for us as a much better version of themselves. Essentially, what we're doing is we're taking the old memories, applying them to the present and to the future, carrying them with us to the present and to the future, assuming that that person is still the same version, assuming that they're still going to show up as the same version, and not allowing them to show up as a different version of themselves by imagining better for them, by assuming better for them, by dwelling within in the right version of them, in the ideal version of them, in the version of them that we actually prefer and that we actually want to experience. So what a lot of you are doing, the trap that many of you are falling into, is that on the one hand, you have the desire for your person to be this version, but on the other hand, you are keeping them, actively keeping them in their old version. In the version of them that you keep remembering, in the version of them that you keep giving your attention to and your focus to, which essentially keeps them in the same version that you've always known, in the same version that you've always remembered. So you're essentially doing what Neville is saying, you are robbing them of the chance, of the opportunity, of the ability to show up for you in a much better way and as a much better version. And Neville in this teaching gives a very, very nice example. It's about a specific person, not a romantic interest, but it's still a specific person. He gives the example of one of his students loaning money to one of his friends. And then a year later, the friend is still unable to pay him back the loan. And so the friend keeps asking for an extension, and then he's asking for another extension, and long story short, he fails to meet each and every extension. Now, our friend, Neville's student, is starting to get very worried because he realizes that he's very soon going to need the money to cover his own needs and his own expenses. Meanwhile, he's assuming that his friend is unable to pay him back, that his friend does not have enough money, is not making enough from his business, and so he's unable to pay him back his money and to meet his obligations. So what this gentleman does next is what every conscious manifestor should be doing instead. He realizes through Neville's teachings that he's been applying conscious manifesting wrong the whole time. Or rather, he hasn't been applying conscious manifesting, he's been applying his assumptions towards his friend, assuming that he's unable to pay him back, assuming that he doesn't have the money, assuming that he doesn't have the capacity to get the money, and so in other words, robbing him of his ability to pay him back, robbing him of the opportunity and the chance to show up as the best version of himself who is able and capable of financially meeting his commitments. So once he realizes that, what this gentleman goes on to do is he starts imagining his friend in a different light. He starts imagining his friend having the financial capacity to make the money and to pay him back. And long story short, a few short days later, that friend gets some big orders in his business, and he calls his friend, Neville's student in this case, to let him know that he got some big orders through his business and that he now has the entire amount that he's able to pay him back, and that as a matter of fact, he's mailed him a check with the entire amount to be paid back. So you see what happened here? Well, this guy was still keeping his friend in his old assumption, in his old state, in the old memories of the guy who is not able to pay, the guy who's not making enough in his business, the guy who's not able to meet his financial commitments. That is how his friend keeps showing up. And for an entire year, no less. Now, once he changes the tune, once he realizes what he's doing, once he realizes that he is the one who, in consciousness, is keeping his friend in the less than ideal state, in the state where he's unable to meet his obligations, and he changes the story within himself, and he starts dwelling in a different consciousness as it relates to his friend within days is able to make the money and pay it back to him in full. And so this very same principle, you guys, applies to all people. And yes, absolutely yes, it also applies to your SP, your specific person. That means if you're going off of memories, if you're going off of old assumptions, if you're going off of the old version of them that you remember, then is anyone surprised why you're seeing no change in the 3D? Why they're still showing up as their old version? Why perhaps you're not seeing movement? Are you actually doing what Neville's student did? Are you holding your SP in a different light? Are you holding them in a higher state? Are you holding them in a higher version consistently and frequently and repeatedly? Or are you going off of old assumptions, old memories, old expectations, your old self, the old version of reality, and so on? If you are not changing the story within yourself, if you're not representing them in your consciousness as the version of them that you want to experience, as the version of them that you are choosing and claiming and are selecting for yourself and your reality, please start doing that right now. Yes, it can be challenging in the beginning. Yes, it might not feel natural in the beginning. It's okay. The more you do it, the more consistently you do it, the more repeatedly you're going to do it, the easier it's going to get, the more natural it's going to feel, the more real and matter-of-factly it's going to feel to you day after day. And this is, you guys, when it starts getting pushed out in the 3D. This is when the new versions of reality start shaping themselves up. This is when your SP starts showing up as the new version of themselves. And this is where you start seeing the transformative power of your own imagination at play. So remember this teaching, and if this is what you're doing as you're manifesting a different version of your specific person, well, stop doing it and change your tune. Remember, don't rob your specific person of their ability to make you happy, of their ability to be the best version of themselves that they can be, of their ability to give you everything you want and be everything you have ever imagined for you and for your relationship. Hold them in that light, hold them in that state, And you are going to be experiencing a big, big difference by doing that, I promise you and I assure you. With all that being said, I'm going to wrap up this video here. I intend that this has helped. As always, I very much appreciate you guys being on this channel, watching this content. I love making this content for you. And as always, I look forward to seeing you all at the next video. Until then, take care and bye-bye.